Okay, well, happy Thursday. We are going live in For the Love of Dragons. And my name is Araya Anra, and I am affectionately known to many of my friends as the Dragon Lady. I've been working with dragons for the last 12, 13 years and wrote a book to work with them about 10 years ago and just love all subjects to do with them. And this week, and over the past couple of weeks especially, but I would say in the last 6 months or so, sound and light language. Hi, Suzanne. Hello again. I apologize for the interruption. We are on take 2, starting fresh. We had dragons at the door we had to go deal with. And there's Anna again. Thanks for coming back on, you guys. Anyway, we had a great discussion today, and it's come up a couple times this week. So I thought, let's just share some of that with our broad audience. And when we're talking about the dragons, hi, Nikki. We have so many aspects, but one of the things that can be opened and start accessing, besides some of our internal intuitive gifts, is an aspect of light language, or the ability to have sound come through you for healing, for opening, for clarity. Hi, Paulina. And I wanted to talk about it because it's becoming so relevant, and it's showing up even in my own healing work again with clients. Years ago it was coming through, but it was coming through in a very different way. And now I'm finding that almost every session that I have, some level of sounding and sound healing is coming through. And why is that? Why is that such an effective and prevalent aspect right now? And in the book, I talk about how things come into 3D matter, how they come into being in this universe. And long story short, essentially when you have geometric form out in the ethers, in the 5th dimensional realms and beyond, and you bring in sound, which is coming through what I would consider the 4th dimensional realm. This is sort of a new revelation for me, that's really what the 4th dimension represents, because we never really talk about the 4th dimension much. It goes beyond, I just can't get enough of dragons, me either. And I apologize, Paulina, we had a little interruption there because I had dragons at my door that I had to go deal with. But having sound come through as something that we skip over a lot, the 4th dimension. What is the 4th dimension, and where does it fit into this vision that we have of moving in the new earth? Everyone seems to be, yes, we're in 3D and we're moving into 5D, is what a lot of metaphysical and New Age circles are talking about. But a lot of people are saying, well, what happened to 4D? What happened to the 4th dimension? Do we skip right past it? And what part of the subject is that? And so for me, I'm really seeing that sound and vibration, pure energy field, but on those octaves that actually open and bridge. I see them as a bridge between the 5th dimensional planes and the 3rd dimensional plane. And those wavelengths can help translate into the next octave down into 3D. That is where matter is allowed to be formed. And so how does that relate to work with the dragons? When we start working with certain dragons, some of the ancient woundings we have and false beliefs we have that shut us down from so many of our capacities, what we can access and get to beyond this realm. And so as we heal those, and we have the dragons help in seeing where they are in the body and burning them up and opening those pathways, as we open that up, some of our gifts start to reveal again, and one of those are our sound channels. And so I am seeing and experiencing a lot of people who are working with the dragons starting to feel like, I have these sounds that want to come out of me, and I'm not sure what to do with them, and I don't know why or if they mean anything. And they do, and whether they're just a toning, like an oh, that can be multi-layered, or if it's an actual syllabic strings of sound. So if you were to have something inside your head, and they sound very much like the mantras or the names of the dragons that I use in the book, the names that can be used to call them in, and it might sound very familiar to you if someone starts speaking light language. So if you close your eyes and you listen with your heart, so that is one particular light language that some of you might have felt a specific vibration come through the heart. You might have understood exactly what I said. Others of you might be going, whoa, that sounded like a bunch of gibberish. What is that? And it all depends on your perception levels, on your energy levels, vibrationally, of what you're open to, what your beliefs are about sound and light language. If you were raised with any kind of religious upbringing, hi Linnell, and had a background that had beliefs that any kind of speaking in tongues, it could be called like that. Some churches, that's a very positive thing. It's a connection to spirit, a connection to the Spirit, Holy Spirit speaking through you. A lot of the sounds actually sound very similar to Aramaic, which is the old language that was spoken when Jesus was alive in the area that he lived in the world. And I know when I actually chant the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic every night to him as he goes to sleep. It's a song that we do as a lullaby, and it just has a very similar sound to that. But whether it's actually strings of sound coming through like that or tones, I do feel like it is coming directly from the spirit realms. And for me, those angelic guides, guardians that are helping bring that through, and the higher essence that I'm connecting to feels very loving. So some of us do, though, going back on that religious upbringing, some people perceive it, hi Teresa, as a devil's tongue. Speaking in tongues is actually coming from the devil. And so there's a big taboo, there's a big hex mark on, oh my gosh, anybody doing that, stay away from. So it's really your own false beliefs and perceptions that you need to look at depending on how you perceive and feel that coming at or through you when someone is using it, or you're feeling it come through yourself. And I wanted to talk about it mainly just to bring it up as a subject that as you're working with the dragons, you might start feeling, perceiving, seeing, sensing sounds that want to come through you. Sometimes they're very guttural, like a roar, like a dragon breath, or a roar like wanting to release, especially from the belly. And as let's see, something very familiar here in your voice with those tongues. Yeah, Linnell, absolutely. And when I hear others speak it, and that's one of my internal things, is being an interpreter of those on other planes. I guess that's what my guides have told me, as being a galactic interpreter. And it's made sense to me that I've wanted to study languages here on this planet in human form, studying multi-languages over the years. But as we move forward and you're working with different dragons, you are going to feel something inside of yourself as you connect to a deeper part of yourself, maybe even wanting to release that sound, even if you don't use it for other people, and you're not a healer and you're just on your own journey, you might have sounds that want to come up and out. And I encourage you to do that, to let them just release in whatever way they need to. And they can be crazy sounds. You know, the octaves coming through right now are a bit higher frequency than when I first started, but if you're in the beginning of your journey and you're not ready for frequencies like that, you might have sounds that sound like bugs or dolphins or sea animals of some kind, land animals of some kind, roaring, howling, whatever it is. If it's wanting to rise up and out of you, I encourage you to do it so it's not stuffed, because there's a vibration on every single sound. And they're even starting to show this in a lot of hospital research, that they're playing very successfully different ranges of music with different frequencies into different wards of the hospitals to heal different things. There's actually a lot of research out there on how sound vibrations are being used to irradiate cancer cells, or change the vibrational frequency in those cells, or other disease cells to actually heal the person. And there's some very stuff at the very forefront of science working on that right now. And I think that's so thrilling and so exciting. And they're having great results in the hospitals they're trying it in, of people healing or feeling better or having a better mood that puts them into a better healing space in their body successfully with sound. So I do know that when I'm in emotional release, or I'm in a process of growth spiritually, when I have these sounds, especially in working with the dragons, and the fire dragons and the black dragons in particular, getting that fire churning in your own belly and burning up stuff that's in there that's holding you back, and a lot of that roaring, there's a lot of anger and stuff that we've stuffed down over many, many years that needs to come up and out, and letting it out is very freeing, and it's hugely beneficial, not only for your physical body to let that out, but for your emotional and energetic body, and also for your connection to the dragons. If you're trying to call the dragons in and work with them, that's part of the connection, in trusting them. If they're sharing with you to roar like they do, or breathe fire like they do, there's a connection being made there that can take you further in your own opening. So I want to encourage you to just pursue that and just see what you perceive. Whether it's, like I said, syllabic light language, or coming through with just octave toning sounds. And I do know that in dragon work, a very ancient connection with some of the old Buddhist monks and practices. And I'm just going to read things like the vibrations of sound healing with bowls too. Absolutely. Sounds that are very similar to the singing bowls that people use, or the Tibetan gonging bowls, gongs. Any type of sound bath is super helpful, but those are things that we're receiving to help us change frequencies in ourselves, and those are very healing. This is what's actually coming out of you, and these sounds can actually sound like those. And you might find that you have singing bowls or whatever, and that you actually have two sounds trying to come through at once that merge and create that same pattern, and it's coming out of you. Anyway, just knowing that it does create a huge amount of release and a great benefit on your journey forward, and it's very prevalent right now. There's a lot happening. And Teresa, I use tuning forks for a sound bath too. Yes, tuning forks are really great, and they definitely, it's amazing how quickly they can realign your energy. I've had, I think it was Linnell, actually, that's just on recently, doing the tuning forks in my ears, and it's one of those things that just soothes almost immediately. So yeah, pay attention to sound in your life, pay attention to it all around you, and I encourage you, just keep going with it. And if you have questions, please feel free to comment on the video or message me, because I would love to help you get through that, help you understand it better. And as I said, there's something to do too with this sound with the air dragons. We actually in book club today had the air dragons come and visit us, and what was interesting is they were working in a new way, beyond what is in the book where they work through the spine. But they are the carriers of information through the basis of compassion, so coming through the heart. But when they work with us, one of the things they did today was actually come in and enter, instead of entering and going up and down just the spine, they came in and were working through the inner ear channels. And so the dragon's breath was actually coming in and entering through the ears and down into the throat where they met, so creating this triangulation in the head, and then going down into the spine. And I felt like it was directly related to the discussion that we had about sound, and a lot more aspects than we're going into right now, but that it was opening and helping in those channels, both in receiving sound and being able to emit sound. And the air dragons have been very, very present lately in the skies all over the world. And I know that a lot of people have been posting photos of the air dragons, or what they sense to be air dragons in the sky. I do believe that some of those dragons in the sky are also other types of dragons, so you need to tune in, but you'll definitely perceive at least that they're dragon energy. And interesting, we had a photo this week too with Phoenix energy coming up, and seeing Phoenix photos showing up, because that energy too is connected to the dragons, and that would be another topic of discussion down the road. But yeah, Teresa, well, you're right, always on cue when you're listening. You can feel this in your inner ears. Yeah, there's a lot of energy, and it might even keep ringing for a couple hours after this, because of the space that I'm in today. It's still channeling through. I can still feel it coming through to you guys, and whoever's catching this on the playback, to help with that opening. And I do feel like things are speeding up with the amount of activity in the skies and in the earth itself. And Linnell has been compelled to waking up her son with the Tibetan bowl in the morning. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful way to wake up. Don't you wish the alarm clocks would set that as their frequency rather than has somebody designed a Tibetan gong morning alarm clock yet? Hi Laura, nice to see you. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on those, and as I was going with the frequency, the upstepping, it seems like there's a lot of activity, both on the planet and just everywhere. The planet is expanding. I don't know if you saw the post a while back. Yeah, the Dragon Phoenix connection. That will definitely be another discussion. There's a post a while back that was a really great media information post. It was about a 20-minute video about solar flare, solar activity that has created a break in the magnetic field of the Earth, and it's causing the core to expand. And I feel like it's really related to Gaia's expansion, to our expansion into the fifth dimensional levels, and directly to all of these things that are happening around the planet right now. We've got geyser activity out of the norm in Yellowstone. We've got rifts happening all over the planet: Saudi Arabia, Africa, Wyoming, New Zealand, Antarctica. I believe there's a place in Northern Europe. There were 54 earthquakes in one section of, I believe it was Peru. So they're very prevalent, and they're all over the place. And they're not just small cracks; they're big, big and wide, and sometimes a couple miles long. And she's expanding. Gaia is ready to expand. Mother Earth is ready to expand as we are. As we keep going up vibrationally, she will also, and that's the gift that we bring her as we do our own work. So just moving forward with that, paying attention. There's a lot of stuff in the skies. There's a lot of stuff all over with the volcano as well. And I just feel like there's a tie-in. There's a tie-in with the level of activity, the need for us to activate. The fact that I can feel this energy coming through in just a Facebook Live, just having a conversation with you guys for 10 or 15 minutes, and yet that stream of energy is still flowing through and triggering and going out to your field more so than other days when I've done lives. I feel like there's a, not a rush or a angst about it, but I do feel like there's a level of increase in intensity or availability of these things right now, just to get people where they need to be for whatever's coming, for whatever's happening. And honestly, I know there's a lot of talk about earth changes. There has been for many years. Who knows the real timing of that? But as long as we just keep moving forward as much as we can individually, it's helping the whole. And so I think that's all I want to share on sound and light language. And I appreciate you guys being here. I'm just going to look through and see who is on the call that might enjoy just a really quick dragon reading today. Let's see. Teresa Warren, have you ever had a dragon reading from me? I don't think you have. I'm programming my iPod with gong music. Oh, sorry. Wonderful. Me, laughing out loud, Nikki. All right, let's see. I pulled up Teresa. Teresa, have you had a chance to have a dragon reading yet? I can't remember. I know you're still there. No, but I would love one. Okay, so this won't be a full one. I do 20-minute dragon readings that are $75 remotely or in person. And this will just be a very brief one just to get you in touch with the dragon guide that's working with you. And that's one of the things the dragon readings do. They let you know what dragon or dragons are working with you. Maybe a mantra or a sound change, something to call a name to call them in to get more direct. And then a lot of times when we have 20 minutes, we can actually go into what issue they're there to work with you on. If there's specific things emotionally that you're trying to move out of, or patterns or false beliefs, that they are there as a guide, just like your guardian angel and guide, that they come in at specific times to help you through specific aspects that are blocking you, or that you're ready to move through for your next phase of evolution. So we won't get that far in just a quick one, Teresa, but I'd love to just tune in, and I hope you're obviously willing to do this live. So let me just tune in to you and see who is present with you. Oh, and immediately you have it's interesting because I don't see earth dragons that are very much like stone or boulder, like rocks, very often. But immediately I'm seeing this one coming out of like granite, beautiful granite and some marble. So you have an earth a family of earth dragon working with you. And the stone dendrite is coming in, and I know there's a dendritic opal because this granite marbling features to this dragon are like they're like white with black specks and a little bit of mottled, you know, like granite is, with a little bit of gray mottled in here and there, and they look energetically like if they stop, this dragon definitely looks like stone, like whew, just takes shape. And so I'm going to ask, but for some reason the color patterning is reminding and pulling up for me dendritic opal, and that might be a stone that you could get a hold of to assist in carrying the vibration with you right now while you're working with this dragon. And let's just see, it does feel like a male, and I'm going to get a name. What's coming immediately is Kandahar, and I know there's a, I think there's a city or something named very similar to that, but Kandahar, and it's Kando, not Kanda. I think the city is Kandahar. Kandahar. He's nodding in agreement. Yeah, that'll work. I'll come to that. He's even saying, you know what, if you want to keep it short, just Dohar. Just Dohar is good too. And he's ready. He's ready for you to be just very aware of his presence, and for you specifically, grounding. He's bringing there's qualities of this dendritic opal that you could look up and get from, but it's almost like a mix. It's interesting because he's an earth dragon family, but with dendritic opal and his characteristics, there's this combination of like the white and black dragon energies, of a higher frequency opening than the regular earth dragon family. And so I feel like there's an octave in there, almost like a triangulation between what the black and white dragons bring as far as clearing through the spine, and yeah, opening channels. It's connected to DNA and to grounding for you. So I would pay close attention to your practices. And hi, Rachel. Yeah, I'm not doing a lot of readings today. I'm just going to do the one for Teresa, but I will alert you guys when we're going to do another. I haven't done a full like hour-long session where I just sit and do readings for a while, or a half hour. So I might do that soon, and I will post it a day ahead of time so that Nikki, you and Rachel can both catch in on that, and I will call on you first when that happens. But for you, Teresa, today, grounding is with this stone dragon coming in for you, and something to do with activating your DNA strands, and you might feel some openings up the spine, because I'm seeing him actually work in. There's spiraling stuff going up and down your spine. That is, I don't know if you've had any old back injuries, Teresa, but I'm seeing some healing happen there. Absolutely, Teresa, absolutely. So glad that, you know, you're on the call and you happen to be the name that scrolled right then. So, and there's, oh my gosh, is that Bhupender? He always makes me smile, all the way coming from India, and we've got Paulina in Australia, and we've got United States. Oh, beautiful. I love when Bhupender's here. So good to see you, and namaste over in India. Anyway, Teresa, just finishing up, there's something, I don't know if you had any back injuries. I am seeing and feeling some of the vertebrae in the very center, almost like mid-back. Let's see, we've got cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. So right where the thoracic and lumbar spine meet, those vertebrae, I feel like there's an old crimping or a pinching or an old injury there. If there's discs that are collapsing or just impinged in some way from an old injury, and one higher up, I don't know, it feels like maybe you had a car accident at some point, I'm not sure, but it feels like there's two spots that this energy can help go in and heal and expand. That's part of what he's here to do for you, and helping you really ground your energy, because you do a lot of stuff up in light, up in the higher frequency realms of reaching out and wanting to bring in, you know, angels, fairies, really high frequency fields that you want to work in, and he wants you to start grounding down and into the earth and into stone specifically. It's a very heavy So wonderful listening to you after. I know I haven't connected with you in quite a while, Bhupinder. It's wonderful to see you. And I have to admit, I hope it's not disrespectful. I'm not sure the customs in India, but I always want to just call you Boo. As like a short pet name for you, because you touch my heart every time that your energy comes up. So I hope, Teresa, that was helpful. Oh, you have a lot of back pain. Awesome. Well, that might start being relieved if you can call him in, Cam Dohar. Dohar for short, and he is definitely there ready to work with you. And I'm gonna just ask if there's the best way. If you can get some of those dendritic opal stones, most stone shops would have them. They're not super expensive, even though they're opal family. That having some of those stones and actually either laying them on your spine, laying forward, or having them just in your field around your spine would definitely help. So wonderful. I thank you guys for being here today. And Nikki and Rachel, watch out for that post when I'm doing a reading next. And then I will try and catch you guys in first. And Bhupinder, wonderful to see you. Thanks everybody else. Linnell for joining. I'm Paulina all the way from Australia. And who else have we have on here? I know there were a couple others. Laura, who is a new face. Nice to see you, Laura. And you guys have a wonderful, here in the United States, we have a 3-day holiday weekend. So enjoy it. To all you Americans and everybody else, wherever you are in the world, just please enjoy yourselves and your family and your dragons. I do session work individually. I do groups. We have a book club. The next one probably won't be till fall. We're halfway through this one, and it is so powerfully fun. I'm loving this group. And I know next year there'll be different or more programs like the Dragon Heart program this year. So love you guys, and I wish you well. Thanks for tuning in, even though I came on late today. It was obviously divinely perfect timing, as always. Look forward to next week, and have a great one. Bye.